Buckingham Palace, a place of pomp, circumstance, and secrets buried deeper than the crown jewels. We all think we know the royal family, their carefully curated smiles, the endless parade of charity events, the stoic duty, but behind those gilded gates, a storm was brewing, one that threatened to tear the House of Windsor apart. And at the heart of it all, a battle for the throne, a clash of wills between a king weakened by illness and a queen whose ambition knew no bounds, Camilla Parker Bowles. Her name alone used to conjure images of scandal and whispered accusations, the other woman, the mistress who dared to dream of a crown. But time, as it often does, had softened the edges of public opinion. She was now Queen Camilla, a seemingly steadfast partner to King Charles III, a reassuring presence as he navigated the choppy waters of kingship. Or so we thought. The year is 2025. Charles, having weathered a brutal battle with cancer, returned to Buckingham Palace, a shadow of his former self. The once vibrant monarch was gaunt, his hair whiter, his steps slower, yet in his eyes a fire still burned, a determination to secure the future of the monarchy, to leave behind a legacy untainted by scandal. What he didn't know was that the greatest threat to that legacy resided within his own home. It began innocently enough, a routine review of royal finances, a necessary exercise in transparency to appease a public increasingly skeptical of the monarchy's lavish lifestyle. But what started as a simple audit soon unearthed a web of deceit, a clandestine operation that threatened to bring the entire institution crashing down. 15 patronage accounts, all under Queen Camilla's name, surfaced without any official records. No royal approval, no king's signature, just a series of charities ostensibly supporting education, healthcare, and animal welfare, causes near and dear to Camilla's carefully crafted public image. But the money trail led to shell corporations, shadowy entities registered in tax havens, their true purpose shrouded in secrecy. Charles, already weakened by his illness, was blindsided. He had trusted Camilla implicitly, believing her to be a loyal partner, a stabilizing force in his reign. Now that trust lay shattered, replaced by a gnawing suspicion that the woman he had loved and defended for so many years had been playing him all along. The king, despite his frail health, acted swiftly. He launched a full-scale investigation, determined to uncover the truth no matter how damaging it might be. Buckingham Palace became a pressure cooker, the atmosphere thick with suspicion and paranoia. Royal advisors whispered behind closed doors, loyalties were tested, and long-held alliances began to crumble. Camilla, initially feigning ignorance, soon realized the gravity of the situation. This wasn't just a minor accounting error, it was a direct challenge to her power, a threat to her very position as queen. The stakes were higher than ever, and she knew she had to fight back to protect the empire she had quietly built over years of careful planning and calculated moves. The battle lines were drawn. On one side, King Charles, weakened but resolute, determined to cleanse the monarchy of corruption and secure its future. On the other, Queen Camilla, a woman who had clawed her way from the fringes of the royal family to its very center, willing to do anything to maintain her grip on power. The war for the throne had begun, and the fate of the House of Windsor hung in the balance. James, sweating bullets, scrambled to scrub the digital fingerprints, bank transfers rerouted through the murky back channels of international finance, encryption keys tossed like confetti into a digital hurricane. But even as the data vanished, a more immediate threat loomed. Sophia, the young accountant, now a pawn in Camilla's high-stakes game. Sophia, lured by the promise of wealth and recognition, found herself staring into an abyss. Falsifying records, legitimizing phantom charities, each keystroke a step further into a conspiracy that could destroy her career, her life. The pressure was immense, the fear palpable. She knew this was wrong, deeply wrong, but the queen's influence was a powerful drug, blinding her to the consequences. Meanwhile, Thomas, the loyal secretary, played a dangerous game of cat and mouse. Armed with his hidden recorder, he stalked the corridors of Clarence House, eavesdropping on hushed conversations, piecing together the puzzle of Camilla's deceit. The encounter with Marin, the exiled financial advisor, was the jackpot. His shaky voice, amplified through the tiny speaker, painted a damning picture of greed and ambition. revealing Camilla's plot to exploit Charles's illness and seize control of the monarchy. The recording was gold, a weapon that could shatter Camilla's carefully constructed facade. But delivering it to the king was a perilous mission fraught with risk. Every shadow seemed to conceal a spy, every friendly face a potential betrayer. He moved like a ghost, his heart pounding in his chest, the weight of the monarchy resting on his shoulders. The preliminary audit report landed on Charles's desk, a carefully sanitized version of the truth. Missing data, replaced auditors, the signs of tampering were obvious. The realization that Camilla had infiltrated his inner circle, that she was actively sabotaging his efforts to uncover the truth, was a crushing blow. He summoned Princess Anne, his sister, the one royal he could always count on for unwavering loyalty and brutal honesty. Their secret meeting at Windsor Castle was a somber affair, the weight of the monarchy heavy in the air. Anne, never one to mince words, confirmed his worst fears. Camilla was playing a dangerous game, and they had to act decisively to stop her. Their plan was audacious. A covert investigation team operating outside the reach of Clarence House, comprised of trusted advisors, MI5 agents, and independent financial experts. They would follow the money, track the players, and expose Camilla's scheme to the world. To buy them time, Charles feigned a relapse, withdrawing from public life, appearing frail and weakened. The media ate it up, fueling speculation about his imminent abdication. Camilla, basking in the spotlight, believed her plan was working, that the throne was within her grasp. But behind the scenes, the investigation was gaining momentum. The money trail led to Swiss bank accounts, then to a Scottish media company, churning out propaganda to elevate Camilla's image and undermine Charles's authority. They found Marin hiding in a French villa, his testimony the missing piece of the puzzle. Charles, alone in his private quarters, wrestled with his emotions. The woman he had loved, the woman he had trusted, had betrayed him in the most profound way imaginable. Tears welled up in his eyes, not from weakness, but from the sting of betrayal. But he refused to be defeated. He would expose Camilla's lies, protect the monarchy, and reclaim his throne. The battle had just begun. Camilla, sensing the walls closing in, launched her counteroffensive. The press, ever hungry for a juicy story, lapped it up. King Charles gravely ill, screamed the headlines. Queen Camilla ready to lead. The carefully orchestrated photos, the teary-eyed interviews. It was a masterclass in manipulation. The public, bless their hearts, fell for it. Social media exploded with support for Camilla. She was the strong one, the stable one, the only one who could steer the monarchy through this crisis. Charles, meanwhile, was portrayed as a frail, fading figure, clinging to power he could no longer wield. But Camilla wasn't just playing the media game, she knew the real battle was fought in the shadows, in the world of forged documents and backroom deals. She called in James, the man who owed her everything, the man who had helped her bury her secrets for years. The ask was simple. Rewrite history. Make those 15 patronages look legitimate, transform them into emergency funds for the monarchy, paint her as a selfless savior. James, trapped in Camilla's web of deceit, had no choice but to comply. He worked feverishly, altering records, forging signatures, creating a paper trail that would, hopefully, exonerate his queen. At Clarence House, Camilla hosted a lavish charity gala, a carefully staged display of royal benevolence. She smiled, she charmed, she worked the room like a seasoned politician. Charles is weakening, she whispered to a sympathetic journalist, but I won't let the monarchy fall. The rumors swirled, isolating Charles further. Even some members of the royal family began to waver, questioning his judgment, his ability to lead. Public polls showed a dramatic shift in support, with Camilla surging ahead as the people's choice. But Camilla couldn't shake the feeling that she was being watched. She knew Charles was still digging, that Marin was a loose end, a potential witness who could unravel everything. She tightened security, hired more guards, monitored her calls, and reminded Marin of the consequences of betrayal. This was a fight for survival, and she was determined determined to win. Weeks passed, filled with tension and uncertainty. London held its breath, waiting for the storm to break. At Windsor Castle, Charles gathered his allies, Anne, William, Kate, his most trusted advisors, and representatives from Parliament. The atmosphere was electric, the air thick with anticipation. Charles entered the room, his face etched with weariness, but his eyes burning with resolve. He laid out the evidence, the irrefutable proof of Camilla's betrayal, the Swiss bank accounts, the forged invoices, the Scottish media company. It was all there in black and white. Then he played the recording. Camilla's voice, cold and calculating, filled the room. "Weaken the king," she said. "This is our chance to take control." A collective gasp swept through the room. Anne gripped her chair, her face flushed with anger. William stood beside his father, offering his unwavering support. Camilla, pale and trembling, tried to deny it, to claim it was all a fabrication, but her words rang hollow, her pleas for understanding falling on deaf ears. Then the door swung open, and Marin was ushered in, escorted by MI5 agents. He looked at Camilla, his face filled with remorse. "I can't stay silent anymore," he said. He confessed everything, revealing Camilla's plan to replace Charles, to seize control of the monarchy, to build her own empire. The room erupted in chaos. Camilla collapsed, her empire crumbling around her. "Why did you betray me?" she whispered, her voice breaking. Charles approached her, his face a mask of disappointment. "You betrayed me," he said, "and you betrayed the monarchy." The meeting adjourned, leaving behind a trail of shattered trust and broken hearts. The storm had finally broken, and the House of Windsor would never be the same.